Welcome to World Wrestling News. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Click the notification bell for new upcoming videos. Today's wrestling news. Shane McMahon facing lawsuit from Ideanomics shareholders. Seth Rollins, my verdict on it is TBD on Raw Underground. Overwhelmingly happy with Eye for an Eye match. The Fiend Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss becoming a couple. WWE star signs multi-year contract. And much more wrestling news. Shane McMahon is facing a lawsuit that was filed against Ideanomics, the company where he serves as vice chairman of the board. Due to his role in the company, he was named in the filing. Ideanomics describes itself as a global company focused on facilitating the adoption of commercial electric vehicles and developing next-generation financial services and fintech products. Since 2010, the son of Vince McMahon has served as company director. He had previously served as vice chairman and CEO. The lawsuit comes from shareholders and is against McMahon in addition to several members of the executive team. The shareholders are accusing them of breaches of their fiduciary duties, unjust enrichment, abuse of control, gross mismanagement, waste of corporate assets, and a violation of Section 14A of the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. The lawsuit outlines Shane's role with Ideanomics and notes how Shane loaned the company $3 million at one point. McMahon owned around $2.1 million worth of company stock as of November 2019. McMahon just made his WWE television return this past Monday night on Raw by introducing Raw Underground. Seth Rollins, my verdict on it is TBD on Raw Underground. Overwhelmingly happy with Eye for an Eye match. Seth Rollins was asked if he concentrates more on the big spots of the match or putting on a match with psychology. To wrestler, I think about every detail. That's just how I'm programmed. That's how I do it. The guys I learned from, that's how they did it, so there's no other way for me to do it. With that said, there is more of an emphasis on moments than what I used to do in the past when I was wrestling hundreds of matches a year. This year I probably wrestled, since March, 20 matches. I definitely think about making an impact with my moments more so than my matches because at the end of the day, moments are what people remember as opposed to entire matches unless the moment is your match, which is not often. I think differently in this current climate we are in and as the business started to shift in different directions over the past few years as well. Question of where he stood on the Eye for an Eye angle. This stipulation would have happened in 1999 in the middle of the Attitude Era. I don't think anybody would have even scoffed at it. I think it would have been a crazy moment of wild stuff happening in WWE. Obviously we are 20 years later and things are different in the way we watch things and the way our audience sees wrestling. But it is what it is. That's what the moment was meant to do, which is create interest for the casual viewer. I think the moment you say Eye for an Eye match, the hardcore wrestling fan, and if I was a 19-year-old kid, I would say the same thing like, oh please. Why can't they just let these two wrestle? At the end of the day, the wrestling spoke for itself and the end moment ended up on TMZ, so we are doing a service to both our audiences. We gave them a great wrestling match and gave the casual viewer a reason to go, what the hell are they doing over there? I loved it. I thought it was great. I was really happy with it. I was overwhelmingly very happy with the final product, particularly considering we had that last scene in limited time and in one take. Seth was asked his opinion on Raw Underground. Man, it's outside the box. Our audience is different. They're begging for something different all the time, something new, something fresh. I think my verdict on it is TBD. Let's see what happens. It could end up being ridiculous in a bad way, or it could end up being ridiculous in a good way. Obviously the first week got people's attention. We jumped up a little bit in our viewership, which is great. I had no idea what to expect when I saw it on the sheet. When I watched it back, I was not entirely offended by it. Especially that it is a brand new idea in its infancy. Obviously they will make adjustments to it and figure it out along the way. I'm open to seeing what it becomes as time goes on. In an interesting development on this week's episode of WWE Friday Night SmackDown, it looks like Alexa Bliss may be warming up to the Fiend Bray Wyatt. After the break, Wyatt was shown with Bliss in the ring as his music continued to play with a red light covering the ring and the ringside area. Wyatt was about to apply the mandible claw like he did last week, but Bliss stopped him by caressing his face. Braun Strowman appeared in a video and said he doesn't care about Bliss and he promised to take out the Fiend at SummerSlam. Fiend vs. Strowman for the WWE Universal Championship is one of the top matches at SummerSlam. The angle with Bliss involved is meant to add something extra to the storyline since this feud has been dragging on for the last couple of pay-per-views. The match at SummerSlam is meant to be the blow-off for the feud. WWE star signs multi-year contract, and much more wrestling news. After weeks of negotiations, MVP has announced that he has signed a multi-year deal with WWE. MVP returned to the company in January for a guest spot in this year's Men's Royal Rumble, and he was brought back the next night for Raw. It was thought that he was only back for a few shows, but he was brought back for a backstage role. At one point, there were plans for them to do a reboot of the Nation of Domination, but those plans were scrapped. MVP posted the following on Instagram. Tonight, I'm drinking the good stuff. Yamazaki 18 from El Country Whiskey is the spirit of choice. I have come to terms with a WWE on a multi-year deal. MVP is in #Dear Business for the foreseeable future. Now, it's official. Stephanie McMahon appeared on this week's episode of WWE Friday Night SmackDown via teleconference to speak with women's tag team champions Bayley and Sasha Banks. Stephanie started out by congratulating Sasha and Bayley for capturing all of the main roster gold in the women's division. She is not sure that they are role models, but they have gotten her attention. She announced that Sasha will defend the Raw Women's Championship and it could be against Asuka. Stephanie added that there will be a triple brand battle royal on Raw and the winner will face Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship at SummerSlam. Video of a former WWE superstar that was posted online this week has fans wondering if we are about to see another return to the ring. Daniel Bryan and Edge were able to return after getting cleared by doctors, and now there is speculation that Tyson Kidd may be the next person to return to action. A video posted by Natalya shows her husband training in a ring and looking in the best shape of his life. At this point, no one is saying that he is planning a comeback, and it's all speculation at this point, but the fact that he's rolling around in the ring and moving around so good is giving some fans hope that he may have at least one more match in him. He has not wrestled since suffering a career-ending injury in 2015. The injury happened during a dark match prior to Raw when he took the muscle buster from Samoa Joe. His injury required him to get 16 staples, 4 screws and a rod inserted into his neck, and there was a real fear that he could have ended up a quadriplegic. Since 2017, Kidd has been working full-time as a producer. Here is the video.